Hi everyone, and welcome back to Queen G's Recipes, and today we are going to be making honey oat bread. It is very easy to make and it is so good. You're going to love it. Now let's go over the ingredients that we will be needing for our bread. So first of all, I'm going to be using some bread flour, but if you only have all-purpose flour, that's fine. You can use that. And in here as well, I have added some salt. You will also need some milk. And here I have some warm water. You're going to need your water to be at 110 to 115 degrees Fahrenheit. You will also need some butter. It doesn't matter if it's softened or not because we are going to be melting it. And here what I have is some oats. Now what I did was I processed my oats in a food processor. I pulsed it for 10 times and it gave me this result. So this is what you're looking for. You don't want them to be too fine, but you don't want them to be too big. So that's that. You will also need some active dry yeast. Here we have some honey and some more honey here because we will be adding this into our yeast mixture, and then this will be for our dough once we start making it. And you will also need a 9 by 5 inch loaf pan, which has been previously greased with some nonstick spray, or some vegetable oil is good too. And that's about it. So let's move on to making our honey oat bread. Okay, so my water is already warm and ready to go. So the first thing we are going to do is add in our yeast. And we are also going to add in our 1 tablespoon of honey that we have aside here. And we are going to set this aside and allow it to proof. And then we will be ready to move on with our bread. Okay, so our yeast here has bloomed just perfectly. And now what we're going to do is place all of our wet ingredients here into our bowl. So of course our yeast mixture, our milk, our melted butter, and our honey. And then we will give our ingredients a good mix. Okay, so this looks great. Everything is nicely mixed together. Now what we're going to do is add in our flour and salt. Now what I'm going to do is add in half of it and then mix a bit and then add in the remaining half. And we will also add our oats at this time. And we will mix until it starts to somewhat form a dough. Okay, so this looks great, and at this time we are going to add in the remaining of our flour and salt mixture, and then we are going to allow our mixture to come up to it's going to come out to a dough, sort of a tacky dough. And then at that time, which it shouldn't take long, probably about a minute. And then at that time, you want to knead your dough here on your machine, probably for another 5-6 minutes until you see a nice, soft, pliable dough. Okay, so our dough looks great, and my dough has been kneading here for 7 minutes. Now, as soon as your dough is no longer sticking to the bottom and sides, then you know that it has been kneaded for the right amount of time. So 5 to 7 minutes is usually the correct amount of time, but be patient with it because it will start to remove itself from the bowl as you knead it. So now what I'm going to do is place my dough into a bowl that has been greased with some nonstick spray or some vegetable oil, and we are going to cover it with plastic wrap and a clean tea towel, and we are going to allow it to rise probably for an hour to an hour and a half. I'm going to place mine in my microwave with my microwave turned off and just allow it to rise on its own. So keep it somewhere where it's nice and warm and just wait for it to rise. Okay, so my dough has been rising for 1 hour, and as you can see, it looks absolutely gorgeous. We are definitely ready to flour our counter here with a little bit of just regular flour, and then we are going to roll it and place it in our prepared loaf pan, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so now we are going to cover our loaf here. Once again, just make sure it's all nicely covered here. And I'm going to place my cloth, my clean cloth, back on top of my bread, and I'm going to allow it to rise another half an hour to 40 minutes until it has almost doubled in size. Okay, so my loaf was rising here for 40 minutes, and now I'm just going to take off my plastic wrap here, and we are ready to bake this. Now, if you wanted to add a little bit of honey on top, you could do so. So you would just warm up your honey for about 10-15 seconds, just a couple tablespoons, and then you can gently and carefully spread it on the top. And then you could also sprinkle some oats on top of it as well. You could do that, but I'm not going to be doing that today. I'm just going to leave it exactly as it is. We're going to place it in a preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And we are going to bake it for around 40 minutes or so. I'll let you know how long mine was in the oven for and what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so my loaf baked for exactly 40 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I'm going to leave it in the pan for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to place it on the cooling rack and allow it to cool for about 20 to 30 minutes. And then as it cools off a little bit more, we will slice it and definitely try it. Okay, so my bread was cooling here on the cooling rack for about 35 minutes. I have already started to slice it, and you definitely want to wait before slicing it, so that's important. And now we are going to try a slice. I just want to show you up close here. I'm just going to butter a slice, and we are definitely ready to try it. It is definitely amazing. It is soft. It is wonderful. The flavor is perfect. You are going to love this bread. You need to give it a try. And really easy to put together, just a little bit of waiting for the bread to rise, and that's about it. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give us a nice big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you will be notified every time I upload a new and delicious recipe. Share the recipe with your family and friends, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. The links will be in the description box below along with the recipe. And I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Bye everyone.